Welcome, future scientists, to ScideoCast, where we podcast scientific issues along with visuals, so you won't be listening to an educational audiobook, but you'll be doing some interactive learning instead. I'm your host Minty, and in today's episode, we'll look at Australia's cuddliest invasive species, the feral cats. We'll brush through their history, take a look at what they feed on, the damages that they impact on native animals and humans, and the action that the government has chosen to eradicate these source of all evil. Feral cats or Felis catus have been around Australia since the 1700s, when European settlers first introduced them. They were first used to get rid of mice and other rodents from farmlands. By 1850s, feral cat populations were identified in the wild. Their living habitats ranges from desert to even woodland, and pretty much everywhere in Australia. Recent study in 2017 measures that in a prolonged drought, the population of feral cats are 1.4 million, and in sufficient rainfall period, they can reach up to 5.6 million. They prey on Australian native animals, for example, bilbies, possums, numbats, mouse, lizards, and even native birds. Each cat is estimated to prey on 5 to 30 animals per day. The minimum population of cats measured is estimated to prey on 74 million animals per day. Feral cats have caused the extinction of various reptiles, mammals, and birds, and threatened over 100 native species. Now, let's go on to how they affect the agriculture. Feral cats can significantly affect the farmland by spreading disease like toxoplasmosis to livestock. Toxoplasma gondii is a parasite that forms a cyst and is carried in feral cats' feces. Ew. When other animals ingest the feces, the cyst infects the host and causes them to have blindness, respiratory failures, or even death. This often affects small native animals like bandicoots, wombats, and wallabies. The Toxoplasma parazoa is very, very smart in the sense that when a mouse consumes the feces, the cyst infects the mouse brain and changes their behavior to not be afraid of the cat. This is all well very good for getting rid of rats that cause damages to the crops, but it is very harmful if livestock ingest the feces. When sheep consumes the feces, it can abort its young halfway through its pregnancy, as well as illness and death. The parasite can also spread throughout a population after the infected host excretes feces. It's just a vicious cycle. Humans can also be infected by this parasite when they change their cat's litter. Toxoplasmosis cysts cause severe eye damage. If pregnant women get infected with this parasite, it can be passed on to their fetus. Let's talk about management methods, the non-lethal way of how to deal with these cats. One non-lethal method to trap these cats is to use the trap, neuter, return method, which includes trapping the cats, neutering them, and releasing them back into the wild. This method is implemented for the hope to reduce the population of feral cats, but this method was later found out to be ineffective because the feral cats were still killing a mass population of native animals. Another plan is to conserve native animals within a cat-free fence zone or on a small island. This method has allowed the animal population to grow 15 times more than the animals outside the fence, and making management of the cats easier. Still invasive? Let's go lethal. With the population of feral cats rising, as well as more native species going extinct as a result of their existence, the Australian government has put in place a method to eradicate these cats. In Queensland, the Murray-Darling committees use sniffer dogs to detect and call the cats. This method is implemented to protect bilbies that nest in the Murray-Darling River. This plan has been extended and applied to the Kosciuszko National Park to protect the threatened pygmy possum from being hunted. Sniffer dog seems to be an effective plan, as there was an estimate of 211,000 feral cats eradicated in Kosciuszko. Another method of eradicating the cats is to use the grooming trap method. Now we have a threatened species commissioner so kind enough to explain to us how the grooming trap works.
It's got 4 different eyes. Each one of these eyes are looking straight out this way. If this eye here sees something and this eye here sees something, then if you imagine you're a cat at exactly that time, and then it fires. That's where we want to hit him, right here. So the cat would run away under that tree somewhere, and it's got all this sticky stuff in his fur. Lick it off, go away somewhere and die.
Thank you, threatened species, for that very informative explanation of how the grooming trap works. As you can see, the grooming trap method is ingenious to eradicate feral cats without eradicating other native species. Now, let's have a look at how biology can control the cats. There is another way to effectively and naturally remove feral cats off the chart, and that is to introduce the Tasmanian devil or the dingoes to outcompete or prey on the feral cats. But, as seen from history, the introduction of more species to Australia will only spell doom for the endangered native species as well as us citizens. So, as logical human beings, we should work on cleaning up our own mess than to create more chaos beyond our capability. As viewers, what do you think? Tune in for the next break where we will discuss the impact that plastic has on the human race.